Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that's deeply personal, but also incredibly powerful, the journey of healing from a toxic upbringing. And look, this isn't about pointing fingers or placing blame. It's about understanding your own growth and really seeing the amazing progress you're making, one small step at a time.
But here's the thing, right? How do you actually know it's working? When you are deep in the thick of it, progress can feel, well, kind of invisible. You might wonder if you're truly getting anywhere or if you're just spinning your wheels.
Because here's the truth. Healing isn't some big, dramatic, overnight event. It's found in all the little shifts. Those moments you catch yourself responding differently, the quiet little realizations that build up over time. It's more of a gentle unfolding, like you're building a whole new path forward, one stone at a time.
There's this beautiful idea from the poet Rumi that just says it all. It reminds us that our past hurts don't have to stay scars forever. They can actually become the very openings where new growth, self-awareness, and a deeper connection to ourselves can finally begin.
So let's start with the first phase of this journey, which is all about the internal work. This is where you really start to reclaim your sense of self, separate from the past.
The very first sign, and honestly, this one is monumental,
Is that you start building an independent identity. After years of maybe being defined by your family's roles or expectations, you start asking, okay, but who am I really? You begin to explore your own tastes, your own opinions, your own passions, completely separate from who you were told you should be. And just to be super clear, this isn't about rejecting anybody. It's about finding your own authenticity. It's about the freedom to be your true self, whether you're with family or not, because you're finally discovering and living by your own core values.
Now, as you're building that new identity, a second sign starts to show up.
You start to hear, and more importantly, to trust your own inner voice. In a toxic environment, your intuition often gets dismissed or even punished. Healing is all about tuning back into that inner compass, that gut feeling that tells you what's right for you. You're not just hearing it anymore, you're actually listening and you're starting to act on it.
And as you learn to trust that inner voice, something really fundamental begins to shift.
You begin to recognize your inherent self-worth. A tough upbringing often wires our brains to believe our value is conditional, that it's based on our achievements or on pleasing other people. Healing is that profound realization that you have worth just because you exist. Period. Full stop.
This internal rebuilding leads you to learn a really crucial new skill.
You learn how to self-soothe and regulate your own emotions. So instead of being totally swept away by huge feelings like anxiety or anger, you develop this ability to be your own anchor. You learn to pause, to breathe, and to give yourself the comfort that maybe you didn't get in the past. It's a huge move from a life of constant reaction to a life of intention.
Okay, so once that inner foundation gets a little stronger, the healing naturally starts to show up in how you interact with the world. And that brings us to our second phase, rebuilding your connections.
All right, the fifth sign. And this one requires a real leap of courage.
You are learning to trust again. When your trust has been broken, it is so natural to see danger everywhere. But healing isn't about trusting blindly, it's about developing the wisdom to know who is actually worthy of your trust, and then having the courage to slowly, carefully let the right people in. This is a massive shift. In the past, you were reacting from fear. Any little thing could feel like proof that everyone will eventually let you down. But now, in the present, you're able to respond with trust. You can give people the benefit of the doubt while still knowing exactly how to protect yourself.
This newfound wisdom brings us to the sixth sign, which is just incredibly empowering. You confidently set and maintain healthy boundaries. You finally learn, deep in your bones, that no is a complete sentence. Setting boundaries stops being a source of guilt and becomes an act of self-respect. You understand that protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's absolutely essential. And as you get better and better at setting those boundaries, you'll notice the seventh sign starting to take root. You start to overcome the fear of abandonment. Man, that fear can feel like an anchor, right? Holding you down in unhealthy situations. But as you build your own self-worth and you realize you are truly okay on your own, that terror of being left starts to fade. You start to engage with people from a place of want, not from a place of desperate need. And finally, we get to the beautiful result of all this hard work. This is what it's all been building towards. You become capable of forming secure, healthy attachments. You start creating relationships, friendships, partnerships that are built on mutual respect, on safety, and on genuine intimacy. You're no longer just surviving your connections, you're actually thriving in them.
But it's so important to remember this. Seeing these signs doesn't mean the work is done. Healing isn't a destination you just arrive at. It's a lifelong practice, a continuous journey of coming back to yourself.
So as you move forward, try to keep these 3 things in mind. First, acknowledge your progress. Celebrate how far you've come, even on the small days. Second, practice self-compassion. Be as kind to yourself as you would be to a friend you love. And finally, embrace the path. Know that healing is not a straight line. You'll have hard days, but they are not a sign of failure. They're just part of the journey. So I'll leave you with this question. Just take a moment and reflect. Even if it feels small, which one of these victories can you claim as your own today? Because recognizing it, just seeing it in yourself, that is in itself a powerful step forward.